Hi Thomas, how you doing?
I'm good, thank you. You?
Yeah, good, thanks. How's the squad looking? And the latest on Solanke, Romero back, Moani.
What was the second one? Sorry.
Bentancur, Solanke, Moani. Oh, sorry, Romero. Sorry.
No, Romero. So yes, Romero is fit and available, and he will start tomorrow. So that's promising news. I think there was a contract to the foot, and the medical did a good job to get him turned around. So trained and ready for tomorrow. Dom, the minor procedure went well, so that's good. As I said, in Bordeaux, the time frame we will know more of before. I can't even remember who we play next time, but when we come back for international, fully focused on Leeds tomorrow. So that will be more on the time frame, to be more specific there, if possible, of course. And Kolomwani has been on the pitch the last 2 days. Yeah. So that's very positive.
Oh, good news. Sorry, on Bentancur, obviously the good news this morning, announced the long-term contract. How happy have you been with Bentancur since you've been here?
I think first and foremost, it's fantastic news that the club have managed to first extend Romero's contract, but also now Roderick Bentancur's contract. I think is a big sign of that both of them believe in the project and the future here, and hopefully the fantastic journey we are going to be on together. I think that's a big signal. It will be the easiest thing in the world for Roderick to run out his contract and do something different. So I think that's a fantastic signal to the fans, to everyone. And of course, I'm extremely happy that we managed to sign him. I think he's been a top player. No, he is a top player, and he's been a top player for Tottenham. I also think we can get even more out of him, and there's an even higher level in him.
And the to-do list all done. Your leadership group.
Yeah, finally, you guys pushed me, so I had to take a decision. I think I couldn't postpone it anymore.
Rodri and himself, Bentancur feels like a leader experience. You've had Pedro Porro as a captain against Doncaster, but the players you've selected, is there individual reasons for each one? Because I'd imagine James Maddison, for example, being out for the majority of the season, he'll be delighted, for example. Yeah,
exactly. I think it's down to a few bits. So first and foremost, I think there is quite a few with a leadership potential in them, and I think the more we can have that want to speak up and take responsibility for the bigger picture, the better. That's what I think create the best teams. And I agree with Roderick Bentancur and Pedro, especially the two of them. I think are two I really want them to take a lot of responsibility, and I think they do very well. But I also think this group, how can you say, also cover the squad to make sure we get around to everyone, make sure that all the groups, even that we one big group, are touched and in sync. So there's lots of factors into that.
I fully appreciate it's only October, but you've had so many changes in and out, incomings and outgoings. The squad's sort of settling down now. When do you get the chance to maybe speak with Vinay and Johan and the other board in terms of looking ahead to even January? Because it comes around so quick.
Yeah. To be fair, it goes quick. Everyone that is well organized, they will probably a week after the window shut, or 2 weeks maximum, they will start preparing the next following windows. So, of course, Vinay Johan is on top of that, preparing that, and then we of course will have a meeting relatively soon where we will start to talk about it, and then progress the planning from there.
Sure.
Hi Thomas, I wanted to ask about the recent record in terms of coming back into games, because Mickey van der Ven said in midweek it's a sign of resilience and a sign of the mentality within the squad, but how wary are you of that not becoming a pattern?
Yeah, of course. We could start tomorrow, try to to get up 1-0 first. I think it's football, and in football it's there's a relatively big, how can you say, risk then the opponents will score, and you need to manage to do that. So to manage to overcome that. And if you see the amount of games different teams are playing, I don't know what the percentages of how many times you get 1-0 down compared to what time you get 1-0 up, but you definitely need to have the ability to come back from setbacks. And I think the mentality and the foundation we are building, I think, is very important that you're able to do that. And I'm very pleased we've managed to do it 3 times in a row, because I think a big thing, of course, it'll be nice just to run over teams and win 3-0 easy, but very few teams do that. This is the Premier League, the most competitive league in the world. It's impossible. Everyone is beating each other, left, right, and centre, more or less, except maybe 2-3 teams. And then we're playing Champions League, which is the best competition in the world, a club competition in the world. So we need to have that ability, which I'm happy with, and keep building on it. Of course, it's not that we're not working on trying to get in front, which we also have done.
In terms of the stats, they are showing that the right side of your attack, where of course we see Pedro and Mo operating, they're creating 45.8% of your chances in the Premier League this season, compared to 25% on the left and 29.2% through the middle. So how much are you working at the moment to try and improve the amount of chances you're creating from the left? Because of course the right side is doing really well at the moment.
I think we of course like to have. I don't think if I'm a little bit out to. I want it balanced. I'm just thinking about that, because if they're creating chances, then the other side are finishing it. So that's not too bad if you just look at stats. But I also think it's fair to say that Mo and Pedro, let's say that relationship is really well, and it seems like there's a little bit of consistency. They found each other, so that's good. And then there's probably been a little bit more with 2 different left backs, both Jet and Dest, and different wingers. So how can we get that little bit more of that consistency in there? And I think that links a little bit to the little bit more in sync and flow we try to work on the final third. But I'm relatively positive around that. I think Wilson is showing promising signs. I think Xavi is showing promising signs. I think Richie scored 3 goals and been fit the whole period. So I think it's getting there. Lucas show promising signs.
So not too much of a concern for you?
No, not for now.
In terms of your opponents tomorrow, Leeds, they haven't lost at home in the league for more than a year, while of course Spurs have the best away record in the Premier League this season. So where do you think this game could be won and lost?
I think first and foremost, I think Leeds they have they've done very well since they got promoted, and I think Daniel Farke and his staff have done well. And big respect for Daniel. I've known him for many years. He's a good colleague and friend in the game. We battled against each other quite a few times in the Championship and in the Premier League. So I'm so happy that he's doing well, and that they got a good start, and show how a great coach is and the coaching staff. So this is, we're going to Ellen Road, which I always admire as one of the best stadiums to go to, because the atmosphere is fantastic there. So it's a game we're looking forward to play. But also that I'm very aware that they haven't lost once. You said in the last year, I think that was the stat, yeah?
They haven't lost at home in the league for more than a year. Their last loss was 1-0 at home for Burnley on the 14th of September.
It's more than a year. Sorry, I thought it was 1. More than a year. It's extremely. So I actually got that stat, but I got it wrong from my analysis department. So clearly, and we know that because of their fans and their home ground, they've been very good. I think the way they started the Premier League, it gives them a lot of confidence. They defend extremely well. They give very little away in open play. So we need to really be aware of that and really know that this is a game that can be 90 minutes back and forth, small setbacks you need to overcome. But we're ready for it. Look forward to it, and we'll do what we can to go for 3 points.
Just kind of going into a little bit more on the team news ones. Randall Kalamawani, would it be available to kind of play any part tomorrow? And also, how far is Kota Takai from being able to kind of...
Kalamawani will not be available to play. He's not in the squad tomorrow. Kota is better and better. He's trained fully with the team for a week, 10 days, a little bit more than that. So that's promising, definitely. So happy with that.
On Rodri, you said he can still improve, as any player can, obviously. I mean, just wondered, what areas do you see that he can push on to another level? Is it things like his goal scoring, maybe, things like that?
Yeah, I think one thing if I've seen, I'm very happy with him as a player and as a character. And I think when he plays his best level, I think he's at a top level as a midfielder here in the Premier League. And I probably need to see a little bit more consistency there. And I also want him to be a little bit more, and I told him himself, so he's I'm not saying anything I haven't told him. I want him to be a little bit more dictating the game, getting a little bit more on the ball when it's tough. He's so good at the ball, he's so composed. He's so good to get the ball in tight areas and get out of situations, and that I'd like to see a little bit more. So I think that's the first bit. And then I agree. I think he can easily add goals to his game. But I think the more we can control that middle of the pitch with him, the better.
Another midfielder, Archie Gray. Another positive little kind of cameo towards the end in midweek. Heading back to Leeds, how much do you think he'll have developed over those almost 18 months since he left Leeds? As I say, a young man. He's still a very young man.
Yeah, he's still a very young man. Of course, I didn't follow him with laser focus because I was in another club last year, but I think he played a lot of Premier League minutes, which always good for the development. No matter what, if you play right back. Did he also play left back? Definitely play right back, centre back or midfielder. So many minutes, so many experiences, some tough moments as well, and it's the tough moments that develop all of us. We know that. So that I liked. I like what I've seen from him pre-season. I really like him as a player. And sometimes he just needs to keep doing what he's doing. I think he's trained well, and I think especially last months probably. So I just see signs of good bits in training. Came on against Bodø, part of making a difference. I think he did good against Doncaster. Learned a lot. They played a way where they took the 8-out man mark, so it was a little bit more difficult to shine, if that makes sense. But I like everything about him.
Just on Archie, he obviously comes from a rich footballing Stockers family. I mean, his great uncle was absolute legend for Leeds. His dad played, his granddad did as well. I mean, does that make a difference when you're dealing with a player when you can see that he's got football in his blood?
I don't think I know. I definitely don't treat them any different. I just see them as an individual. I try to help in the best possible way. You can say that sometimes that there is something they maybe got a little bit more in with the blood, especially if they got, which I think actually Archie got. He got that. It's not discipline. It's not the word I'm looking for. But he got that. It seems he understands that he needs to work hard. Like the foundation, you want to achieve anything, you need to do that. And I think his understanding of the game is good as well. So I think those two bits and the discipline, I think is key areas you want to achieve anything. So that maybe is that from the plot of the family, maybe. Yeah.
And back to Rodrigo, you mentioned that fantastic news to have him sign a contract with Romero to buy into what you hope to achieve in the next few years. I mean, he obviously would have been a free agent in the summer, presumably one of the most attractive free agents in Europe. Can you just give us a bit more insight to how you managed to convince him that the future can be really bright here, and how much, was it a hard sell or was it not at all? Was he very much into it straight away?
I think, of course, we try to convince him in terms of what the future is here, the perspective for the team and the perspective for him, how I saw him and what kind of role I like him to play. Of course, a very important player that I think can be part of moving the team forward, and I think his qualities will be able to shine here, and I think there's we are, I think, start of a journey, and I think the future look bright and exciting. And there'll be one thing for sure. There'll be lots of ups and downs, but I think he'll be very good for that.
Lastly, it's the last game before the international break, which fills most Spurs fans with dread.
We have a fantastic stats, isn't it? Something like that, yeah.
Great,
yeah.
It's not great. And it would have been unfair to ask you about it last time because it was nothing to do with you. But you have had one experience of it already.
And we performed absolutely top in that game.
I mean, trends in football. I don't know how much you can read into it, but it does seem this weird thing Spurs when they struggle for an international break. Can you understand why? Is it just a weird coincidence?
Yeah. Let me put it this way, I really, really do hope we win tomorrow, so we don't need to speak too much about it in the future. For me, it's like a weird thing last year, and not just saying in stats. Last year in Brentford, we couldn't win away from home the first 6 or 7 months, or more than half of the season, for whatever reason. Then suddenly we were the best away team 9 games in a row after that. So the thing is, with these stats, it's things up to us to treat like a game where we're extremely focused, we are aware of the game plan, we show fantastic mentality, and we do what we can to win the game. It's all about a good performance. So we need to keep focused on what is ahead of us. That's the game. Make sure we execute the game plan, and then hopefully not speaking about that anymore.
Presumably there's a desire to be done with this.
I put it that way. I've mentioned it to the players, so we don't. I actually said you guys will most likely ask me, so please make sure we are winning.
There seems no logic to it. I mean, you can apply logic to the one after the international break.
Yeah.
But less so before it.
Yeah. I actually a bit agree with you, because the one after, that's where some of them have been flying in late. They maybe played 2 90s. They had short turnarounds, that some of them coming from South America, Africa, and so I also actually always felt it was after that could be a little bit of a problem. So I agree with that.
10 games, Thomas.
So what did we do after? We actually beat West Ham, didn't we?
Yeah.
So it's good. Yeah.
So your first 10 games.
Yeah, sorry, say again. Yeah.
10 games.
Yeah.
1 defeat.
Yeah.
Can you reflect a little bit on what you've tried to do coming into Spurs, what you thought were the priorities, and whether you've got them there, whether you're where you want to be? Have some things been moved quicker for you, some things moved slower for you? Anything you can say?
I still think it's how can I say, a low level of games to really do a big analysis on. But I would say that I'm pleased with the foundation in the team in terms of the way we defend as a whole, the little bit of that mentality, desire when it not going the right way. Let's say that 3 times we came back from being down. The set pieces. I think those areas is in a fine place. I think the final third has been a little bit up and down, which is natural. I think we spoke about that before with a front 4, completely new front 4. So there's new relationship, there's new all that, and I think the little bit of controlling games is probably the next steps to go into.
How do you inject desire as a coach?
What desire?
Yeah, how can you inject?
That's a good question today. I need to think. I think I speak a lot about culture and working hard and running hard, and I think that's a bit of desire. And then speak and show clips and feedback to the group, individual feedback if they don't do it, and praise when they do it. Yeah.
Are their stats improving on those?
The stats? Yeah.
Any secrets you can tell us?
No, I think the visual is the most important thing, that you see if players are sprinting back or not. I think that's the big thing. If we lose the ball, we need to be able to sprint back. And there's been some nice pictures we can show when we do that. And then of course there'll be some running stats and there's some recovery stats. There's some bits of that.
If I may finally ask one on Colomboani. It seems an unusual injury that's taken a bit longer than what a lot of people expected. But is he suffering from having a disrupted summer? Is that part of it?
No, it was just a dead leg. I just was bleeding too much. So very simple. Yeah. So that's sorted now. So now we just need to get him up to pace. So yeah, there was no muscle, nothing, just a contact, unfortunately, and then bleeding. Okay.
You spoke in the summer about the need to manage Richarlison and sort of the work the medical department done to build him up.
Yeah.
Have you ended up maybe having to take more risks with his fitness because of the injuries to Dom and Codewine being injured?
No, I would say. I think the medical informants department has done a top job in terms of building him, and I think it's quite remarkable that he's how can I say, fit in company with his history. And I think we took some good decisions. For example, was it the first friendly we played or something like that, where he was just too short, so he didn't play the 45 minutes. So there's been trainings where we probably not today. There's been when he came back from last international break, didn't start him. So there's been bits of those. So right now we haven't been forced into areas to games where we had to play him, if that makes sense. So I think he's building extra layer, which is good.
In a situation like that, would you ever maybe get a player to adapt their games, also when they're playing, maybe don't do as much work off the ball and sort of manage their minutes in that way even while they're playing?
Oof, that's difficult for me. I always get that. Is a default in me. I get so annoyed if they're not running. So they need to do something unbelievable, remarkable if they're allowed not to run. So the short answer is no.
In terms of his character, do you think he's someone who's better when he sort of has a point to prove? Maybe he has more competition than he's had last.
I think that's the tricky thing. Is when you walk into a club and you don't know them. You don't know them at person. You don't know how they react. You speak a little bit to people. How do you get to know them? So that's an answer I don't know, if I'm honest. That will always be for me a little bit as personally difficult to understand. I'm just thinking, okay, you want to improve yourself. You want to do well. You want to I'm not saying he doesn't want to do that, but any player. So far I've been happy with his attitude and his work rate, and also quite a bit of his performances. But there's still things that can be improved, of course.
Elias.
Seaman's obviously dropped out midweek and he's kind of played in between the 10 and the left, and I suppose not really kind of had that defining performance in the Spurs shirt yet. How close are you to kind of like working out? I know obviously versatility is a huge reason why you signed him as well, but working out where he fits exactly in this team and getting those kind of right rhythms and combinations with him to kind of see at his best level.
I think that will be an ongoing working progress. He came literally 2 days before the window closed, so that's a little bit more than a month ago, into a new league, new team, new everything. There's very few players I've seen, I can remember, just hit the ground running. For me, I need to see promising signs, I need to see glimpses, I need to think, oh, that was good. I need to see 3 or 4, each game. There can be a touch, there can be a turn, there can be a pass, there can be a top action where, okay, there's something to build on, which I think I've seen. I agree that through the roof performance, we need to see a little bit more, but that I'm quite convinced that it will come.
And with Jed, obviously, he made another England squad.
Yeah.
I think he spoke about how playing for England was one of those kind of ambitions and goals that he's had for a long time. Is that something that he's kind of communicated to you, just how much breaking into the England squad means to him, obviously, in the World Cup year as well?
I just spoke to him after the first call. No, spoke to him after that as well. But after the first call, how proud he was and happy, and his family, and I can only imagine how big it must be for him. One thing for sure, just extremely happy on his behalf, and I think of his performance. I think he truly deserved it.
I finish with George, please.
Hi, Thomas. We go back to July 2024. Leeds from the outside. Archie Gray is about to sign for Brentford. And then someone come in and ask you kind of how kind of close he was to signing for Brentford, and how did you react when you obviously missed out on a big talent?
Let's put it this way. Yes, we spoke with him, but in the way he ended in Tottenham, and maybe that was good. I still have the chance to work with him. Yeah, that was one of those things. I think it's no matter where you are in what club you're in, sometimes you go for some targets and sometimes you can't make it for whatever reason. So what I'm happy with is what I see from Archie here, and I believe he got a big future here.
I guess the sort of plans you had from Brentford, if you had signed, will they be similar here, or is it a bit different because of the squad, maybe the level of squad you've got? Did you have a completely different plan for him coming in this summer rather than 2 summers ago?
So you asked me if I had the same plan at Brentford or here? Yeah. I can see the way I'll put it this way. The way I see him hasn't changed. I see him as a midfielder that can play 6 or 8. That I think is his position. And I think these days midfielders are more. How can you say? Need to be more complete. They need to be a little bit of 6, a little bit of 8, a little bit of 10. And 2 of the best in the world right now is probably Rodri and Declan Rice. I think those they can do a little bit of everything. And I see Archie that there's big names to compare to, but I see he got some of the same potential.
Yeah, I was going to say him and Lucas both get compared quite a lot because they're 19 years old, both young midfielders. I guess Archie has the kind of 30-40 million price tag over his head. He's already played 51 times for Spurs. He's got so much potential. No one can say at this point this has been a failed move or he's a 4 million flop.
No. I also think that when is it that we judge the players? I think it's. I think we forget we are not playing. It's not called FIFA anymore. What's it called? The Football Manager. What? Yeah, okay, yeah. Thank you. Or Football Manager, what it is. Yeah. It's human beings we're dealing with, and there's 25 players in a squad, and there's a crazy coach. You have different thoughts, and then there's an opponent affecting. There's so many things, and then there's a personal life. So I think when do we judge a player? I think that's probably fair. 2 years down the line to see if that's the first really. Where we really can make a big assessment, where I know, and I also being judged from game to game, so I know how it works. But I think to really look back, I think that's where you can see if it's not right to rephrase that a little bit. I think to judge if it's a success or failure, I don't think you can really do that after 2 years. That's not the same that you can not be judged on your performances and you haven't done well. That's fair. I didn't perform well because of but that will be a little bit up and down with any player.
And just following from James Madison, obviously naming it the Leeds group, he's obviously out for a long time. It can be hard to be positive when you've got such a long road. What has he kind of been like around the group of these last few months? I imagine obviously you're very impressed with to name him in the group. Yeah,
but I also think there's a couple of things. He's a how can I say, very positive person. He's lively is not the word. It's he's extrovert. So I think positive, smiling, interacting with everyone, and I think that's a big plus. Plus he also get around to everyone, and he's also interested in leadership. So I think that was quite natural.